Welcome to the story of Chris, a Canadian serial entrepreneur now living in Mexico after exiting two businesses and about to exit his third business. And in fact, his trading career began when I was just 3 years old, with multiple decades of experience in the markets and starting to get involved with the lower time frame about 4 years ago. Chris has had a wide career, a lot of experience, and he tried everything from swing trading to investing to scalping to algorithmic trading. In general, that long career left him frustrated and really seeking more information and more success.
Hello guys, welcome back. Today I have Chris. I'm genuinely very excited to have him today on this call because Chris has been one of our most active members. He's also a veteran when it comes into trading in general. So I'm very happy to have this conversation today with you, Chris. But before we start, if you can give a small brief about yourself, where you're from, age, and what you are currently doing. I know you have a current company that is exiting too, so if you want to give a big brief about it, that'll be great.
For sure. My name is Chris Vanderdeen. I am Canadian, but I live in Mexico the majority of the time. I've been transitioning into living a more travel lifestyle since I sold a couple of businesses a couple of years ago and working on selling my last business in Canada, which I'm hoping to have sold by the end of this year so that I can move to Dubai. I'm definitely no stranger to the markets. I bought my first stocks in 1998, but I didn't start trading lower time frames until about 3.5 years ago.
Amazing. So as you just mentioned, you have a lot of experience, at least when it comes into business. Exited two companies already. Third one is on the way, and then we're gonna welcome, of course, you in Dubai. We're very happy to once you move here to meet you also in person. As you said, then you started to trade more, like what is considered trading, and not just buying and selling stocks based more on value. So, what was your introduction into what is trading, and what were you exactly, or how were you trading before joining us?
So I've been swing trading for a number of years, but mostly unleveraged positions where I held the stock, the index, crypto, etc., and then sold it based upon seasonality and other such things. I started trading lower time frames though 3.5 years ago when I started adopting the Al Brooks method of scalping, which I was actually profitable in before joining WWA, but it was an exhausting method of trading because I was essentially trading all day, doing numerous trades throughout the day, which wasn't giving me a lot of confidence regarding my position size because I was always afraid in the markets because I never really felt like I understood the markets from a shorter term, like a market structure on a shorter term perspective, as well as I do now. So when I realized that my method was getting to be quite exhausting, I started looking for WWA, and I initially saw Wakar and Wally on a Words of Wisdom podcast, and I loved it so much that I just couldn't stop looking at what you guys were doing, and that's how I found WWA initially. I watched literally all of your content just to see if that would be the best approach to take my trading to the next level and really reduce the number of trades that I was taking per day and per week. It really did accomplish that, which is great. So
amazing to hear. So when it comes into, you were mentioning, right, that you come from a background where you're already kind of for 3 years, very lower time frame approach, which I think that was great to have that experience when it comes to come with us. But at the same time, you said that it was really exhausting. So how do you think that has evolved with WA? Because you've been with us now for around 6 months and maybe a couple of weeks, if I'm not wrong. So I would love to know, how do you think that has evolved, and how was that transition into the way you're trading right now?
Well, it was actually really difficult at first to go from being profitable to being horrible again. And it took me a lot of time at the beginning to avoid going back to my prior scalping strategy. But I was very good about it. I decided I was going to completely put my trading in WWA's hands, and it was going to take as long as it was going to take. Mind you, it took me the full 6 months to get a funded account. I lost one account to some issues that could have been easily avoided, but unfortunately I didn't. And then got the second account and about halfway through my WWA journey and started working towards getting that funded. And that just got funded last week, which was pretty incredible and very emotional, especially after such a process in the last 6 months and learning something completely new after having been profitable before, and then going and spending 6 months first losing a lot and then being break even and then finally starting to make some progress in the right direction. It just felt incredible. I can't even tell you. I was on a Zoom call with the group that we call every London session, and they were all cheering me on, and it just felt incredible to finally have the new strategy start to pay off.
Amazing, amazing. You know what? Like, this is one of the key things that I think is very important that everyone should understand that for you, for example, it took 6 months. For other people, it will take a month, and for other people, it will take forever or might not even ever accomplish it, right? So it's also something very, very important to know that, well, you find your way, you had to reset, which is not easy. Not easy in general, but more so, I think, when you come from a background of being profitable. So props to you. I think that's also a big step into your trading. I do think there's huge potential on your growth when it comes into this new approach. And definitely, in my opinion, you're just like reborn. Like right now, is that strategy is starting to pay out? But I do think that over the next months and years, you will solidify even more that approach, and I think it will pay out massively. So when it comes into the program, you've been already for around 6 months with us. If I can ask you, what do you think, well, what do you like the most out of it? What do you think it was the most useful?
Well, there's a few areas. The key one, I had a journal review with Wakar, and I had a one-on-one with you. I'd spent a lot of time in the course material, being active within my group and bouncing ideas, especially off of other group members like Wojtek, which was hugely valuable to me. But having that personalized approach and that personal time with you guys made the biggest difference in ironing out the wrinkles in my trading,
Mhm.
because I felt like I was like right at the brink for a long time of understanding the material, but there were some things that still needed to be worked out. So I really appreciated that. I also appreciated there were times where I was in trades and I was very confused about targets in terms of trades, and I'd put it in the group chat, and I get immediate feedback from people like you, not financial advice, of course, but advice on how you would handle it if you were in the trade. And I really appreciated that personal touch. But most of all, I have to say, the part that I never expected and the part that I think I'll appreciate for the rest of my life is the group that I've met, like Wojtek, Usama, and some of the others. We literally meet every call. And I know that these guys are going to be lifelong friends. And I never anticipated before joining WWA that I'd leave with lifelong friends. And I really appreciate that component. I would have gone back and paid the money just for that, let alone all the value I got in basically allowing me to reset and entertain a completely new trading method. Those were the parts that I liked the best.
Yeah, you mentioned pretty key components. I think one of them is very, very difficult in general to give a course to someone and that person becomes profitable. Yes, there's gonna be some sort of people or characters that are able to do so, but majority of people they're gonna need certain feedback, and that's the reason we've kind of catered this mentorship on that way. Another key component that we've kind of integrated in the community, and you've mentioned it right now, that you're living now with this very group of people and individuals that they think like you, that they have the same mission and vision in their lives. I think that was key for you, and it was key for me too, right? Having Wakar and Wally, probably if you ask them, they will say the same from me. Like having us as an inner group, we're growing as traders, have always been massively. We've always lived together for a long time, even in the same house, because that made us grow as traders. We're just bouncing ideas, trying to improve things. And I think it's what you said, all those inner groups, they're the reason why we've created to try to not have these big discourse where people get lost, but more like putting people that are like-minded individuals like yourself, and therefore, of course, with a bit of effort from your side that I know you guys did, then become friends, jump on calls, get feedback, And I think it was a key component for sure on your growth, and it will be for the rest of your life, same as I have walk around Bali for the rest
Mhm.
of my life too. So very nice to hear that touch too, because I think it's something very important. Something I would also love to tap into is, did you have any fears before joining WWA? What was your thought process when it comes into before joining us?
Well, it's funny because I actually do a lot of research before I make decisions. So there
Yeah.
wasn't a single video that I didn't consume, with the exception, even though I live in Mexico, I'm not fluent in Spanish yet. So I didn't watch all of your Spanish videos, of course, but I certainly
Yeah.
watched all of the English videos and did a lot of research. So I was 100% certain when I got on the call with Wakar. So Wakar was surprised when he showed me the price, and I just said, okay. And he was like, well, do you have any questions? And I'm like, well, honestly, if you told me $100,000, I would have had to think about it. But at this price, I already know that it's going to provide value. I mean, I mentioned that trading size was one of the things that I was looking at. Like, I never traded more than one lot prior to WWA because of my
Yeah.
scalping strategy. And now I regularly trade between 25 and 50 lots on a 200K account.
Amazing.
And I just don't see how that would have been possible without a mentorship where I had somebody to take me and show me how to get to that level. And I was hungry for that level. So I didn't have a lot of fears. I did a lot of research prior to it, and there
Mhm.
read a lot of reviews online. So I was fairly confident going into it,
Awesome.
that you guys were going to be my mentors.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, first of all, for all the words that you're saying, because it means a lot for us. We're trying to right now set up the standards. There's a lot of things, new things coming in place that we want to basically be number one when it comes into the trading education on the space. Sorry, I think very confident we will achieve it with the team we're building, with the community, and like-minded individuals that we have inside, like you, Wojtek, Sama, the rest of the guys. I don't want to mention all of them, but all of them. So, is there anything that you will say for anyone that's going to listen to this video, and when it comes into joining us, is there any comment that you will make around that?
Well, first and foremost, you definitely want to be part of VIP one. I'm just kidding. We were the most active group, so I really appreciated that, actually, because by having such an active group, that was great. But I would say that trust the process. If you come into it with a different strategy or preconceived notions, I think you need to leave that at the door and completely leave yourself open to the process. Especially at the beginning, I was asking questions too quickly without even getting through the course and getting through Q&A calls, a lot of which would have been answered if I'd just stuck to that process first before I
Mhm.
started asking questions and before I started trading, especially. I actually waited a month before I started trading the concepts, which I was very thankful about because I think I would have lost a lot of money. So definitely don't trade in the first bit while you're learning. Those would be
For
my
sure.
recommendations.
Amazing, Chris. Well, it was a pleasure to have this conversation with you. Thank you very much also for your activity. Again, as you said, no, you are very thankful for your group, but I think it's also a part of putting a bit of effort, and you guys have done that. And I've seen how you much are growing, and I'm so excited also to see how you guys are going to keep growing in the future. So, especially also you, which I'm speaking to you today. So,
Mhm.
have a great day. Thank you for this time, and see you inside.
Thanks, Alex.